So since Lorcana has been released, I've attended 4 tournaments, 3 of them which were constructed, and I've won every tournament I've attended. I'm still making quite a bit of mistakes while I play, but my deck list is so strong that it's carrying me through these tournaments to a first place victory every single time. So I'm gonna go over what I think is the best Ruby Amethyst build. If you don't know who I am, I'm Trenton Wright. I got top 16 in the largest Yu-Gi-Oh tournament ever held, consisting of 4,600 players. I've also made other tops in Yu-Gi-Oh, played a lot of Magic the Gathering. I'm also legend ranked in Hearthstone. So let's jump into this deck list. Bada bing, bada boom. Nowhere in this hotel room has good lighting. Anyways, let's jump into it. So first things first, 4 Archimedes. Gotta beat the aggro matchups. The aggro is your hardest matchup, so you need to be able to be prepared to beat them. 1, Shield of Virtue. This actually ends up in your Inkwell a lot. It's very good in the mirror match, and it's okay against mid-range. Against aggro, you pretty much don't ever want it. 2, Magic Mirrors. Drawing cards, very good. So you play 2 Magic Mirrors. 1, Ursula's Cauldron. This card's actually very good, but you know, it's uninkable, so it's a one of. You might be able to play 2, honestly. It's that good, but I just don't. 4, Gastons. I know what you're thinking. Wow, that 4 Gastons, what the heck? That's a lot of low drop. You know, you need to be able to beat aggro to win. We're playing 3 LeFous. This actually would probably be dropped down to 2 if I had all the cards I needed for this deck, but because I don't, I play 3 LeFous. LeFou's pretty good because you can play him to untap your opponent's Simba in the aggro matchup. So like what? They play Lilo turn 1, you play Archimedes. That turn 2, they play Simba, and you're like, crap, now I can't kill the Lilo. Well, you play LeFou, untap Simba, and now your Archimedes can kill the Lilo. So that's kind of why I play him. Boom, 2 Magic Brooms. The reason we're playing 2 Magic Brooms is for the mirror match. We get to shuffle Magic Broom back into the deck consistently and never deck out. It's surprising how often the mirror match goes to a deck out. White Rabbit's Pocket Watch. Honestly, I'm considering taking it out. It really doesn't perform that well for me. I mean, when I play it, it's good, but it's just like most of the time I find like myself not having an opportunity to spend 3 mana on this instead of like a tempo play. For that, I'm considering taking it out, but I haven't been losing, so I really haven't been making adjustments. 4, there's 4 in here. 4 Rafikis. Now you're like, whoa, 4 Rafikis, that's a lot. A lot of people aren't playing 4 Rafikis. Well, Rafiki is your best answer to beat aggro decks, and let me tell you, beating aggro decks is very important. With a normal Ruby Amethyst build, it is hard to beat aggro decks, and this build specifically tries to beat aggro decks, and then it will just kind of beat the other decks because it's Ruby Amethyst. So we're playing 4 Maleficent's, kind of just like a staple in every Ruby Amethyst deck. Actually, really every Amethyst deck, you're just playing 4. You're just playing 4 friends on the other side as well with those 4 Maleficents. It's like staple. Like I don't even think I need to say anything. 1 Jet Sam is be able to counteract those evasive characters, and then like maybe quest for one every time. But you know, this guy deals with a lot of the red evasive, or all the ones that are really played. 4 Jafars. It's just a good strong drop. That's inkable. It's a 4-drop that's inkable, which is kind of what you're looking for because your 4-drops don't really matter. And then it's a good card if you play it anyways. So you're really not too sad about 3 of him. 4 the Queens. The Queen's very good. Draw engine, drawing cards, always good. The Queen has the benefit of a 4/5 body on top of drawing cards. So it's important to note that in your aggro matchups and in your mid-range matchups, a lot of the time it might be better just to swing with her and destroy your opponent's characters instead of drawing your extra card. So that's something you got to consider. You know, this character can attack. You don't have to draw cards with it, and make sure you're utilizing that function of them when you're starting to fall behind tempo instead of just drawing more cards. Doesn't matter how many cards you have in hand if you lose the game. So just keep that in mind. Playing 4 Dragonfires. I actually was originally playing 3, but I put in 4 because I don't have enough Be Prepared. And I think 4 is actually the right number. The ability to Dragonfire, like a turn 5 green card, you know, like a Mad Hatter or something, just always having it is very, very good and wins you a lot of games. I think 4 Dragonfire is actually the way to go, and if you're not playing 4, you should be playing 4. 4 Mauis. It's kind of the same thing with Dragonfire. It's a very strong tempo play, and you just always want to have good tempo. So you're playing 4 Mauis. Playing 2 Be Prepared. I'm not gonna lie, I'm only playing 2 because I only have 2. Because I only have 2, I'm actually realizing that 3 is probably the right number. I don't think you actually want to play 4 Be Prepared. It's just, you don't always want it. You just want it when you need it. A lot of the times when I'm playing online and testing my deck with 4 Be Prepared in it, I find myself using Be Prepared just kind of like in an okay situation just because I have so many of them in hand. I'm like, you know, I'd rather play like an Aladdin or something here, but I'm just going to use Be Prepared because it's a point where my opponent has 2 creatures and I have nothing. I might as well get rid of his 2 creatures and get rid of one of these 3 Be Prepareds in hand or something like that. 4 Aladdins. I see a lot of people playing 3 Aladdins. 4 is definitely the correct number. Once you play against those aggro matchups, they get up to typically like 16 to 17 by the time you get to turn 7. Getting this Aladdin in out on turn 7 or playing Be Prepared and Aladdin turn 8 or something like that is very strong, because now that next character they played a quest with, you're now threatening to make them lose lore and essentially stabilize your game state. Speaking of losing lore, you want them to lose lore, so Ursula also draws you a card, helps you stabilize that game state once you get to that turn 7 against that aggro matchup. One Mickey Mouse, this is just kind of thrown in there because it's inkable for one. Got 4 lore, so it's a pretty high priority threat. It's gonna get a removal card every single time, and it's something you can just play without your opponent having anything. So like cards like Ursula, Aladdin, and Mickey Mouse, you know, I find them actually pretty important to play because they're cards that you can just play. You're like, you wipe the board, your opponent passes turn back to you. These are cards that you can just play and you don't really feel bad about doing it. Where things like, for people playing like 4 Elsas, you could play Elsa when your opponent doesn't have anything on the board, but it just feels bad, right? You'd rather play an Ursula or a Mickey Mouse, so that's why I'm only playing 2 Elsas, because really you want to play Elsa when you already have Aladdin out, or already have characters out that are going to kill the characters you tap down. And playing Elsa into an empty board just feels terrible. So 2 of her. And then I play 3 Maleficents. This would be 4 if I had 4, but I only have 3. So I'm playing 3 of them. I mean, it's just kind of the same thing. It's inkable. That's kind of the reason you play 4. It's because there's a lot of non-inkable cards in this deck. So having inkable cards are very good. And this is a very good inkable card. So pretty much when you're getting to your later game, turn 9, turn 10, you always just want to have one of these guys in hand. So that's why you're going to play 4 of them. Then when you draw them early, you know, you draw them turn 1, turn 2, you just ink them. So it's not that big a deal. And then having 4 copies will allow you to ink the early game ones and still have enough in your deck to draw them in the later game. So that's the entire list. I think this is probably one of the stronger lists. Like the crucial change, I think, is getting that 3rd Be Prepared in there. What you would take out, I'm not really sure, because it's just, I would want to say take out a LeFou for it, but you need to figure out a way to like manage that non-inkable cards, because you're taking out an inkable and adding a non-inkable. So maybe the answer is an Ursula or something like that, but even that feels bad. So maybe, so it's hard for me to say exactly what I'm going to take out to get that 3rd Be Prepared in, but I think that's realistically probably the only change I'm going to make. And I might be throwing in this 4th Maleficent when I get it. You guys are probably wondering why I don't play the little Aladdin or the little Elsa in order to shift out the big Aladdin, big Elsa. So here's the thing, man. Those cards are not that good. That's the problem, man. Those 3 drops, if I'm playing turn 3, if I'm playing Elsa, like a little Elsa instead of a Rafiki or something like that, I am in for a world of hurt. Like my turn 2, or if my opponent goes turn 1 Lilo, turn 2 Simba, which is like every single game, if you guys didn't know that, against yellow. And then they go like turn 3, you know, whatever they do, just in time, a dude, well, I'm pretty much lost at that point. But turn 3, you know, like a Hans or something. And I'm not playing Rafiki turn 3, I am losing. Like, if I'm not dealing with that Simba by then, I have lost the game. So you need to be playing this 4 Rafikis. If I play an Aladdin on turn 3, I get a 2/2 that dies to Simba, that dies to Hans, that dies to literally everything in the game. That's just gonna make them lose one lore. Yeah, I get 1 lore from them. Rafiki stops them from getting 1 lore by killing Simba, and then also enables the killing of Lilo. So essentially you're stopping 3 lore by playing Rafiki, while you're only stopping 1 lore with Aladdin, who can't kill anything. It's just not a good card, man. It's just so bad. And even if you shift Aladdin in turn 5, so say you turn 4 baby Aladdin, then shift in turn 5 big Aladdin, get a swing with that. You've now taken away 3 lore, but you would have gotten 3 lore taken away anyways, because you would have killed the Simba, stopping him from questing with Simba, which is 1 lore, and then you would have killed because Simba's dead, you would have killed the Lilo, which would have stopped another 2 lore. You would have gotten that 3 lore anyways, just by playing a different card on turn 3. Instead of having to wait till turn 5, you're getting much more value by playing Rafiki or playing, you know, these other cards. Like getting rid of the Lilo with LeFou or Rafiki or something like that is just so much better than playing an Aladdin and shifting into big Aladdin. And then the little also, like, you literally, it does nothing for you. Like there's like, 1 or 2 situations where you get to tap something down and attack it. Like the situations that come up are so rare that it's just not worth playing. Like when it's good, yeah, sure, it's good, but you're already winning the game when it's good. And that's called a win more card, and win more cards are not good. There will be some gameplay videos of this deck list. I'll probably post them either tomorrow or the day after that. Just do a couple guides on how to play the deck. So subscribe if you want to see that. Thanks for watching.